live, I guess. And yeah, that's what we are. We are live.
Okay, I'm gonna
You
do
double
the. I'm
check
gonna do
that.
the. Some of the. Yeah, I'm gonna. I should get a notice. Okay, I just got a notice.
It says
I'm.
YouTube
I'm gonna
new
do the. Some of the.
live on the
Some of the.
channel.
Yeah, I should get a notice. Okay, I just got
Yeah,
a.
I just got a notice.
What's that echo? Is that echo from you?
That was for me for just a second, but I've taken care of it by turning off the YouTube.
Oh, okay. Okay, that I had to mute mine.
Yeah.
Let me share this just so if anyone cares, they can find it.
Go ahead and
Anyway,
go
so
live
you said.
and then not be ready. That's what I'm up
Yeah,
to.
well, that's about par for the course.
Okay. I think I'm
So
comfortable
what was the
now.
freelance? What was this freelance thing you're working on? Can you talk about it? I mean,
Oh
you told me
yeah.
who it was for,
It's
but
for it's for in world.
so you hadn't done anything for them for a while, had you?
Have not, and they just welcomed me back into the fold. It's just one guy that I interact with, and he's always been great to me. Here's what I'm working on. Looks very painterly. I'm working with the iPad. I'm just taking. It didn't come out too well, but you can kind of see what it's up to. It's a hero, and in the background, a peasant is come upon him and is looking him over, saying, "Now there's a hero, and here am I, a peasant." And that's as as deep as I get into what I'm up to in terms of storytelling. But
Gotcha. Yeah,
yeah,
well, but it's not that kind of thing. It's just like an illustration, right?
yeah, it's just a little
I
spot
mean, but you
illustration.
always want to put a little bit. You always want to put a little bit of storytelling into it.
Sure, sure.
I mean, that's the.
That's what I'm up to, and
Oh,
we'll see
that's
what.
cool. So what prompted that? Because you had kind of
Well,
not really turned your.
I did turn my back on it because he gave me a couple of assignments that just frustrated the life out of me. And artists when they get annoyed, they aren't very they can be volatile people. And I didn't have anybody to take it out on other than me, and I said I quit. And it was just a matter of he had me doing a okay. It was Grand Central Station for the first for one thing. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, and it was Grand Central Station was the setting, which
Okay,
you
it's
can be
difficult.
you can be a genius and figure out a good way to do Grand Central Station without breaking your back. You could do it at a water fountain and call it and put a sign over it, say Grand Central Station. But I tried to make it a big setting and all that, and it was a something about vampires, which I guess role playing games have vampires in them nowadays, if you choose
Yes.
to have. And and it was supposedly like they had a whole bunch of cages with human beings in them, and it just turned into just a little more of an epic than I was up for. And by the time, and I did several passes on it, and for the most part, he'd always been really good about saying, just like when I turned it into him, saying, "Wow, great, thanks," and I loved that about him. But on this,
Yeah.
he wanted changes, and I did it
Oh, I
without,
remember that now.
and I
Yeah. Well, that can be frustrating.
yeah, yeah. But the changes weren't really what did it. It was just the thing, not doing a good job at it, and quitting on it before I saw it. And so I said, you know what? I'm not doing what I want to do, which is to make these painterly. And this one rubbed me the wrong way. And I'll see you. And
Happy trails.
nothing personal, but I'm kind of had it. So I left, but not on a particularly sour note. He said, "Come back anytime." So I
That's the ideal way to leave something like that.
yeah, sure.
Because you never can tell. I mean, unless they just completely screw you over on the money or
Yeah,
something, and you're
unless
like, I'll
I,
never
or
work
I
for them
screwed
again.
them in some way by leaving them hanging out to dry. But I also did it by, and my professional artists will chastise me here, but I said, don't worry about, even though this one cost me more effort than anything I'd done. I said, look, if this falls short, forget, forget forget the money for it, and I didn't get paid for it. And
But he didn't use it either, did he?
as far as I know, they didn't use it. I didn't
Yeah.
care if they did use it. I didn't think it was.
Well,
I didn't think it was very good, and I was done with it.
well, I mean, here's the thing. I think, as an artist, especially doing something like that or anything, even in my like day job,
Hmm.
you're called to do all kinds of crazy things,
I know. Yeah.
and sometimes it's like I'm not. I mean, you can't be the master of everything. I mean, there are some artists that can do anything, but for the most part, mere mortals,
Yeah.
there's like, and you have off days, and
Yeah.
the thing about doing art that I think makes it difficult for a lot of people is when you get frustrated for whatever reason, it's easier to not make art. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah. It's
easier to
easier. It's
go.
easier to walk away from it. And I am at the age where the curmudgeonliness of me is likely to rear its head at any point and make itself
Oh, I don't think
my
that. I don't
main
think that's an age
characteristic.
thing.
Yeah.
I think that can be anybody,
Yeah.
but I think one of the things that probably skews you that way a little more is you're not making your rent money on this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it was
That
if
is true.
and if
Yeah. Anytime I quit on one of these, I'm saying, well, there goes $40. That's all I'm making on it.
well and yeah, you're not yeah, it's extra money and it's nice. And extra money is always nice, but yeah, you're it's not like I'm going to lose the house over this,
Yeah.
you know. But
So,
anyway,
what are
yeah.
you up to right there? You still finishing
This
off
is
on?
page. Yeah, I'm getting back in the swing. This is page. The inks for page 5. I need to do a little bit more here in the background, but I did that figure, and so I'm gonna let that dry and maybe hit it tomorrow. Um, uh, I'm very happy with it. I mean, I'm not quite
It was pretty
100% where I
striking.
want to be.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, there's always room for improvement. But I went back. I've been looking. I have this. I want to show
Just
you
look.
this. If I don't drop it, this
No,
and
no,
I think I gave you. Did I give you one of these, Ellis? It's the
no, I
ash
don't think I
can.
got an ash can.
Oh my gosh. Okay. When I'm done, I'll give you this. I'm using it for reference,
Yeah.
and I made it for New York Comic Con last year. I made 15 of them. And I gave them out to I gave them out to 14 people. In fact, I gave the first one to the writer when I saw him in Tulsa a couple weeks ago. I think this is the only one I have left. I numbered them all.
Oh,
This is
that's all
15 to
right.
15.
That's
No, no, no. If you want it,
worthwhile.
I can give it to you.
You'll want that for eBay selling eventually.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I may want to hang on to it, but I was going back and looking through it because I'm using it for reference for the characters and the buildings and stuff, and like the
Hmm.
office. And I'm going back and looking at it, and I'm going, well, this I looked at one point. I convinced myself that this was terrible and it was going to, and it's got flaws. I'm not going to say it's perfect by any means, but it doesn't look bad. There's some
You
stuff
know
that's
what?
really good in here.
There
Some
is
of the
something about
art.
yeah. There is something about art that sits around for a while, and that amount of like magical like problem solving that an artist typically does without realizing how much of it is kind of cool and magical that you've done.
Yeah,
It's what you see when you look at it again after it's frustrated you to death. Even though that
yeah, and I think
Advanced
that's where I was
Infiltration
at.
with Vampires wouldn't do that for me, but I'm pretty sure that.
I drew it years ago. I say years ago. I think it's for New York Comic Con. I had a script that was Deadpool, Well, you drew part of that Deadpool script. You know that
I think
Deadpool
we were.
script you do?
I think we did the same sample.
Well, you did
I did
one
less
part
of it.
of it. I did. At the last half they end up in Grand Central Station or Terminal,
Okay. I quit after two
and
pages.
2 pages.
Yeah, those
But
are
anyway,
sample.
I drew that Grand Central part, and I was very happy with how it came out. I mean, for again, it had some flaws. I'm not gonna tell you that it was perfect. I don't know why Marvel didn't hire me, but I was very happy with one of the things when I'm drawing something like that. One of the things that I try and do is I try and make sure that the pages have a sense of place. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And so I really went out of my way to make it look like Grand Central Station. Oh, we have a few listeners or
Oh, we
viewers.
do.
Star Storyteller said, "Hey, you too. Hey, Star Storyteller."
Hey, what's up, Star Storyteller?
Anyway,
It doesn't roll off the tongue too easy.
it does not roll off the tongue, does it? Anyway, so right now I'm starting page 6, inking page 6. Sorry if you're looking at the back of my head,
Oh, and that's
but
all. I'm hardly looking up. I
so
really am. In this case, I am. We're looking down on during this session.
oh yeah, that's good. That's what.
What it was. This.
So I see you're having way too much fun with your security camera.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you see that one I sped up?
I saw the preview of it. I didn't sit and watch the whole thing.
No, well, that's all it takes. 40 or so seconds. The one I sped up.
I don't have that much patience.
God, you're like me. You're worse than me.
I'm worse than you. So was there anything paranormal? There was one that you said that was labeled paranormal. What was
Well,
that? Was that
I
I
talked
watched it.
about
I
the
didn't see it.
potential. I mean, all this stuff is to give me feedback on what's going on around me. And it's like, do I really
Oh
want to know?
gosh.
It's like, do I really want to
You
know?
may not
Just like
want to know.
that paranormal film. It's like, you know what? They would have been better off if they'd never seen all that.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss. Never forget that.
This is bliss.
You know. I may be putting in a Dick Blick order sometime soon.
A Dick Blick order.
Yeah, you
For
want any
what?
part of that or?
I don't know what. Oh, anything
I don't
got on
know.
my
That's
mind.
what
It could be anything I want.
yeah, I mean, you want me to? Do you want me to consult? Do you need anything?
Nothing occurs to me off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, if you change your mind, let me know. Or
No,
if you come up with something like, oh, I need,
yeah.
because no matter what, I will order enough so I get free shipping. Because it just galls me to pay $6, even though I only want to spend about 15. I'll fill it with I don't know leads or pencils or something.
Yeah, that's
I'd rather
that's kind of
spend
stuff. Yeah, it's
I'd rather spend get stuff than spend the extra 5 and get nothing for it. And, oh, thank you, Storyteller. Storyteller said I was doing good. And holy cow, Ellis, that program's amazing. I've been watching you. Oh wow, that does look cool, Ellis.
yeah.
What's
The program I'm
the
using
premise?
is art. What's the premise? That is
Is it Art Rage?
Oh no, the program is Art Studio Pro, and it only cost
Oh, okay.
like $22. And yet, and you remember Barry's reaction to it during our recent Classic Cinema
Oh yeah,
podcast.
he was like, "This is
He
like
said,
Photoshop."
this is
How did they keep from getting
Photoshop.
sued?
Yeah, yeah. It is what you are used to doing with Photoshop largely. I mean, it has, you turn a corner, you expect to find this or that utility, and by golly, it's got it. It
Yeah,
distorts.
well, I sat down and messed with it,
I let you play with
and
it. I was ready to
I
jump
was like,
across.
this is
I was ready to jump across the table and take it away from anybody if they started to. You almost got me with what was that? Do it? You were tapping the end of it, trying to get an eraser function out of it.
oh, for the eraser,
Yeah, on my here's
no
one of the
eraser
pricier
on the
items
Apple
right
Pen.
here is this Apple Pencil. I'm
Yeah.
that's the thing that costs you some money.
What was it? It was 125.
Yeah, I think it's $125. Did you get any sort of an itch for something like this
No,
yourself? No,
no,
no, not really.
no. I work on a computer all day. I want to work on paper. The other day I started inking, and all my inks were kind of dried up in my pens, and I was messing with them, and
Hmm.
I got ink all over my hand and on the floor, and it was just great. I was
Love it.
bathing in ink. It was glorious. It was
Yep.
glorious. Yes.
Well, there
Well,
is
I
something.
that's I mean
I know that I
I
will never get the feeling I get from a really nice sharpened pencil hitting paper just right in terms of like feeling like I'm drawing. You know, this is fine.
yeah I
But I
never
tell
I
you what,
messed with I
for being painterly, which was what I'm really kind of
yeah
after with digital, I saw this one guy, and I guess it was, I don't think it was Boro, even though I like him a lot. It was another guy called Mixing Paint, I think is what he calls his program. Uh, and he talks about you want to just stay abstract for as long as you can.
well, that
And
makes
he
sense.
described it as taking pokes at it, or I don't know if poke was his word, but that kind of thing where you just continue to put down little dashes and dabs, and that's the way you
Well, it's
proceed.
big to small, or
Yeah,
general to
exactly.
specific, I guess is probably more the
That's it.
accurate art term,
Yeah,
you know. And I mean that's the thing. But do you know who John Berkey is?
John Berkey. Yes, he's the
He
guy
did
that does those space operas. Correct.
yes, he did, and his most famous thing is he did one of the King Kong 76
Oh yeah,
posters or whatever
sure,
year that was.
sure.
Um,
Between the
I got a
Twin
book of
Towers.
his, and if you look exactly, I got a book of his, and if you look at it, it's like he is so abstract. But if you get more than a couple inches away, it looks great.
Well, that's what's happening here, and I'm trying to just give a quick indication of this sheath for what do you call it, scabbard for this sword, and
Oh
I'm
yeah,
I'm getting too close to it and doing too much to it at this point. I need to just quit and say do something else, you know. So
well, and that's one of the problems I ran into with digital for myself was I would overwork
yeah.
stuff that I didn't need to spend so much time on, and that infinite zoom, I just get lost, and it's
Well, yeah,
like
you got to
I would
watch
do
that
cross
because
hatching.
when you're in too close, you're doing yourself. If your goal is painterliness, you want to stay a bit zoomed out. Right now, I am going against that, and I'm getting in close and starting to draw instead of paint. So I got to watch myself. I'll zoom back out.
I I I enjoyed working digitally, and in a lot of ways it is faster, but I just felt like I was always fighting it.
You are. I
Look
mean,
that I
yeah,
wanted.
you are. To Doug has been previewing his what is it, Bigfoot Bill stuff, and
Uh,
he's got a new
yeah.
cover that he's hired out a guy to do, whose name is Esteban Mirabel,
Okay.
and I probably mangled that name, but you get the gist of it.
Sure.
Esteban Mirabel. He's a guy that's hey, the Jeff. Oh, what's that guy we like so much?
Darrow.
The guy that
Darrow.
wrote the Underwater Welder.
Oh, Jeff Lemire.
Yeah, Jeff Lemire. He he does that kind of job. He's a diver. He's a guy that's got the bends and all that. But this thing he's got this H.P. Lovecraft kind of story that's been indigoed gold. And the guy is an amazing digital painter at doing just that, looking like traditional media. And this thing he did for Doug had the process for it. And he starts, I couldn't believe this. See, right now, I should be trying to make this look like sepia if I was to copy what Mirabel is doing.
Because
He's working with
he does tone.
yes, he's doing that tone and Frazetta always started that way too, toned like bird umber or sepia or whatever. I believe Doug made a point of saying it's a sepia sketch, and it's I couldn't believe that he was so methodical and obviously trying to recreate what he was doing as what he would typically do as a painter. And I also realized, well, that's genius. If you're going step by step and saying, well, I do this when I paint, you are going to eventually find yourself with those steps in hand that you can recreate. And I thought, well, that's it. That's so smart.
Yeah, I mean that's if the goal of the software is to emulate the real thing, then it makes sense that using the real technique would be the way to go.
Yeah. Your goal is to add just a little extra to it by saying, okay, software will give me the look and the feel of it, but I have to have my methodology adhere to what I'm using.
And I was never a good painter. I always struggled with it. Traditional.
Well, that's the deal.
Otherwise,
basically, all of that traditional painting that looks like it's trying to be John Singer Sargent, starts with that same methodology, that Riley method. And what you always do is that, well, like what I'm doing here without quite the methodology, is you do your big tonal study. Right now, if this was more of a drawing first, where I got all my tones and all my shared values together and had them mapped out to hopefully as simple a bit of communication as I could stand, then I would be ready to maybe start painting. And instead, I'm just going in and painting. But I'm painting with that methodology, thinking about like saying, okay, it needs to have the tonal value first.
Hey, Ellis.
Yeah.
Okay. Star Storyteller asks, Scott, do you have a Twitter account?
Okay.
So I'm going to answer that.
Yeah,
I do have a Twitter account. I am Scott Sackett on Twitter. I don't post straight to Twitter very often. My primary thing is an Instagram account, and it's also Scott Sackett. But my Instagram cross posts to my Twitter account. So if you're not on Instagram, you can follow me on Twitter there. And if you follow me, I'll follow you back. But I'm not on Twitter much, just because I don't know. I just find social media interrupting to my life.
Well, and if you treat it like I do, where it's like, now's my big chance to think about him. That's the dumb way to live your life.
No.
But I do it anyway.
I mean, you know me. I'm not like that, but
No, you aren't like that.
because
I am.
I'm of the opinion no one cares. No one cares what I think. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I'm not gonna tell
Well,
them.
that's the way a guy's got to be. You got to understand that no one cares what you think
Yeah, I mean, I don't
about,
care, but
at
I don't
least
care what they
about
think
that.
either. So I mean,
At least
it's
about,
no, I don't know. I don't. You know, who cares? I mean,
yeah.
but I do use social media to show my art or attempt to, and I am on Facebook, and I will post a little bit on Facebook, but it's you know it's most if you want to see art, Instagram is every. But I haven't been posting much on Instagram lately because I've been chiefly trying to get well. We got back from vacation. I've been trying to catch up with or get back on track on inking, and so
Yeah, you
and
got
I've
to
been
get.
working a little bit in my sketchbook, but I don't I haven't been posting it for some reason. I'm sorry, what were you gonna say, Alice?
Well, a person does this thing. I mean, you work in like right now. I let my Inktober task uh, come to the fore, and if it wasn't for the fact that I have, in fact, a little money from them, it would be just the dumbest thing in the world to even spend any time on. I shouldn't be doing that. I should be doing something that uh, important. But the Inktober is a fun little thing that is basically just filling sketchbooks up. Really.
Well, a lot of people like to do that, and I did when we were on vacation. I posted stuff, and I would post it, you know, at October. But I have
Mhm.
no intention of doing an ink drawing every day. I mean,
Yeah,
and if somebody does, that's fine. You do it what you do whatever you want to do. I'm not, but I'm with you. I've got other. I've
I
been
got things
working
I ought to
out.
be doing.
Well, I've been working out since I went for a physical, and my blood pressure was a little high, not too bad, and some of my numbers where they shouldn't have been. So I've kind of recommitted myself to working out 30 minutes a day. And you know, you figure I work. I usually get home at 6. I eat. I'll play with the dog a little bit. I
Hmm.
draw. I work out for 30 minutes. I try and read and draw a little. There ain't a lot of evening left,
Yeah,
you
no, no,
know. To,
no. It
you
goes
know,
away after an 8 hour day, pretty quick.
yeah, which is fine. I like my day job most days, um, but it just you make your choices. And one thing I've learned as I get older is there is not a lot of time. I mean, you can't make more time. So, and I have a few things that occupy a lot of my time, a lot of my free time. And so I have to be very judicious about what I do. And I'm not one to sit there and if you ever see me in public and I'm looking at my phone, I'm probably shopping. So I'm not a may. I don't know. I mean I look at it occasionally, but not much. It was amazing. When we were in New York, everybody was on their phone
Oh,
everywhere
yeah.
we went. It was crazy.
One of my most vivid memories of New York City walking on the streets is these really nice looking, no doubt fashion model types in front of me, and that nice odor of marijuana coming back to me as they pass that joint between each other. And it's like that's the way you walk around on the streets of New York. You smoke a joint with your other super attractive friend that has found themselves in the Big Apple. That's a fun hyper extension of college or whatever. It's a nice little adventure to be on at a certain age.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be scared I'd wind up in Connecticut or something. You know, be like, oh my gosh, how'd I
Oh
end up
no, no,
here?
it's not sexy to be wandering around the streets smoking a joint with your white trash if you're in Oklahoma City doing it.
Oh, I don't know. I I saw on the way home today. I stopped at a library. I had some books to turn in, and and I was off. I got off a little bit early today, so I was out a little bit early, and I went to the library, and there's a guy, and he came up, and he was waiting in front of me. He said, and he asked for something, and I realized later he was asking where the restroom was, basically, but I didn't hear what he said. But she said, "Well, go down here and turn left." But it was like, I mean, the guy. If you had told me he had a joint in his pocket burning, I don't think I would have been more. I mean, that he smelled like that. You know, it's like, holy cow.
People don't realize when they come out of their little closed car. We
can smell it.
They've got the resin. They're just dripping with resin. And they act like.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. In Oklahoma now, if you have a card, it's legal. So, you know, and I think pretty much all those places will get you a card if you're interested in it.
Oh yeah, all you have to
I told.
Go ahead.
To say I don't feel good. My back hurts. I told somebody today though, and this may annoy somebody to listen or whatever. If it does, I apologize. But I told somebody today. I said, you know, here's the thing about marijuana. I've never heard anyone say that guy was really dumb until he started smoking pot, and he just got so smart.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. No, the only person I see it not seeming to affect too much is Joe Rogan. And that's because he's a comedian and a guy that rolls around and gets in a groove grappling. So, and then just works out. He's not using the kind of brain power. He might be writing better jokes stoned. Because I don't know if he is.
He might be.
He might be, but... well, I remember about being stoned is how funny things seem that might not be all that funny. You know, in other words, it makes you an easy audience that maybe, you know, he needs to be, as a guy writing jokes, he probably needs to be a little harder and write some weightier Norm Macdonald kind of jokes. Norm Macdonald.
Well, I know you're a Joe Rogan guy, but I'm never. I mean, not that I dislike him or I never really listen to him or whatever.
Well, what he is,
I guess
this is funny considering that we're talking about Joe Rogan and intellect. He has replaced the only guy that used to go long form in terms of like talking to people was Bill Buckley and Dick Cavett. And so you got a guy named Joe Rogan who's not, you know, he's not got the mental. But you know what? Joe Rogan is not stupid. I'm not trying to act like Joe Rogan is this dummy stoner. He's not. He's a smart guy. But he's not Dick Cavett or any of these other super clever guys. But maybe that's better. Maybe that
homeless shelters.
What's that?
Storyteller said libraries have become homeless shelters.
Oh yeah, well
okay,
yeah.
So, well here's the thing. Ellis and I both live in Oklahoma City, different ends of the city, but we both live in Oklahoma City.
I live on the bad side of town.
Well, I didn't say that, but yeah. Anyway, occasionally my wife works close to downtown, and so occasionally Ellis and I will meet at her work and we'll walk downtown and we'll ride the trolley. There's a tunnel system and there's a library, and the downtown Oklahoma City library, and I suspect most of them are like this, have literally become like a day center for homeless people. I mean, it's pretty. I guess I'm glad that they have a place to go, but it's gotten kind of.
Every time I see one of these guys, it kind of annoys me. I think to myself, that's Charles Bukowski. You know, maybe potentially, because you know that's where Bukowski had some of his happiest moments. If you can point to Bukowski ever
being homeless or being at the library.
Yeah, I was being at the library.
Being homeless.
Finding his heroes.
Oh. Well, I've been helping out a relative who was recently homeless, and this person has now have a place to live. And my wife and I have been kind of helping her with some stuff, just different things, and trying to get her back on her feet and in a better situation than she is now, which is better than she was. But the hanging around her and a couple people that were in her orbit
Yeah.
that are now, that one of them literally is homeless now, and I have become very hyper aware of I mean, how many people I see walking around. It's like, yeah, that person with the backpack walking around at 6 o'clock in the morning, they're probably homeless.
Well,
And I'm not really sure why.
it could be any one of us with enough get enough setback
Oh,
going.
absolutely.
It could be any one of us.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and that's
And
the thing with this person. It's
really,
like,
the society right now is trying to put your back up against the wall so darn quick that
oh yeah,
it's frightening how much the overhead, your burn rate is just so much more intense in modern society than it used to be. You used to be able to float
oh
for a
yeah,
couple of months on your average salaries and stuff, and now it burns
yeah.
real quick. And
Well,
we ought to that's the
I heard a
deal.
statistic.
Yeah, go ahead.
I heard a statistic that said, like most, I don't know what the percentage is, but like most people, I think it was in America, but I don't think it was worldwide. Most people would not be able to come up with $400 in an emergency, like if their car broke down or something,
That little.
and that's not a lot. That is not a lot of
Well,
money, man.
like I say, when I
I mean,
got here,
not really. I mean, compared to and I think a lot of people they get through emergencies on credit cards, which I mean, it's good they have them to do that, but man,
yeah, it's
you
nowhere to
know,
live. No,
yeah, it's just tough, and I know I know people that I see just burn through cash, and it's like, dude, you should be saving some of that.
yeah, hang on to
you
that money.
know?
That money is
Well, just
when you don't have it,
living
believe
within
me.
your means. Living within your means is a wise thing, I
Yeah,
think. And
yeah.
I'm not trying to get whatever preachy. I mean, how you spend your money is none of my business, but uh, you know. So speaking of, have you turned your heat on lately?
I'm getting along pretty well without it, but it does come on by itself. I didn't even turn it on. I was kind of surprised when all of a sudden, hey, it's on. I didn't do anything. So that thermostat was waiting for me to just come on. So that the
Oh, really?
pilot light was where it needed to be, all that. So I
Oh,
put
yeah, it's
it.
supposed to get cold next couple days.
Oh,
Tonight,
is
I
it?
think maybe.
Oh, tonight?
Oh, yeah, it's supposed to be. I think it's going to get cold. The cold front's coming through tonight, and it's going to be nasty tomorrow, I think,
Oh, really?
and the next couple days. I was supposed to go Friday. I was supposed to go to. Got my work has a pickleball court in his backyard, and I was supposed to go play pickleball at his house after work, but
What is
it's supposed to be
pickleball?
raining.
I don't.
Pickleball is like, uh, yes, Star Storyteller. People don't have emergency funds they don't touch. Yes, you should. Ideally, you should have. They say that you should have 3 months of salary, which is quite a bit of money for. Well, I guess it depends on your salary, but anyway, pickleball is. I think you play it with a hard paddle, think of ping pong, but a little bit bigger,
Okay.
and it is like tennis, but it has a low net, and you hit underhanded, and it's on a
Okay.
smaller court. It's like think of a low energy tennis.
Okay.
That's kind of the goal. It tends to be played by people that are older because there's not as much running around. Anyway, got my so much he built a court in his backyard.
Cool.
And he's been after me to play it, and so I was like, I'll come over and play it.
Yeah, shoot. Build something like that. You want somebody to come over.
He's had tournaments at his house. He's gotten his money out of it. I don't know. It sounded kind of fun. So
you remember that?
Like I said, I told this guy also.
Did you
do it?
Did you? Wasn't there some guy in New Orleans that bought himself one of those shotgun shacks that he turned into a big? He turned his entire backyard into a skater's ramp. I don't know if you remember ever seeing that. I think it was in New Orleans.
Who did that?
Oh, he was a world-class skater. Not skater. Well, skateboard, like a Tony Hawk kind of guy.
Yeah, but a skater. Yeah.
And he turned his whole backyard into a big ramp. A big horseshoe
I've seen
ramp.
A couple guys that have done that. Oh yeah, I've seen that guy here in Matt Hoffman. He built a huge dirt bike thing in his backyard.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, and of course the Beastie Boys. I don't know if you ever saw what they did with their money. They, once they got very independent, they just said, okay, let's build the studio we want to be creating in. And they're little.
That's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, and of course it's got a basketball hoop in it, right where you want it.
Oh yeah.
It's got all the stuff, all the goof off stuff you'd want in it to have fun with.
Yeah, we talked earlier. It's too easy to procrastinate when the going gets tough, though.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well,
but I mean, if
yeah, almost everybody's probably better off with a little less in terms of entertainments. If you're wanting,
but if it keeps them in the studio versus leaving,
yeah,
might not be bad for them. Might be a good time investment or whatever. For sure. So what'd you do today?
What did I do today? Well, I edited one of those spy cam videos together. It was kind of pointless. Spent time doing that. What else did I do? I didn't do this. I should have been working on this, is what I should have been doing. And
save it for the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to work. You didn't ask, but that's what I did. I went to work and I and then I left early. We don't have money. I'm not going to pick on millennials. Storytellers said millennials don't. I assume they are millennial, so we don't know how to handle money. Nobody knows how to handle money.
Well, no, I mean,
or one of the. It's not any generation. It's all generations.
Yeah. You have money is
society. Well, it's
when you're young, you do a lot.
We live in a cap.
Yeah, go ahead. You do a lot of dumb stuff.
Well, I was going to say,
we live when you're young.
You do dumb stuff with your money every age, though.
Sure, I'm doing dumb stuff with my money now. I mean, we're talking as people that buy comic books and buy deluxe edition comic books and stuff like that. That's dumb. I mean,
yes.
The bottom line, it's dumb. Be getting better use out of that money.
Somehow, but God, you got me off track, Ellis.
Yeah.
No, we live our society is revolves around, and so we're constantly
Yeah.
bombarded with ads and that sort of thing, and told if we don't buy the right thing, then we'll be happy if we just buy this. For example, I was just telling Ellis I'm ordering something from or maybe putting a Dick Blick order in. Do I need anything? Nah, not really. Do I want something? Sure, of course I do. I'm always buying art supplies. Even though I didn't buy a lot when we went to New York.
So
But I saw a lot and said
New
I'll buy
York,
it
did that
later.
go just smooth as it could go or not?
New York went excellent. It was as good as it could have possibly went. The publisher is very happy for my comic. They're excited for it. They talked about me going to conventions to promote it. You know, I mean, it went very well. I'm very fortunate to have a company. I got really lucky because I was introduced to a writer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, maybe, but I was introduced to a writer by a publisher. I went by the publisher's booth, and I was introduced to the writer. And the publisher was a pretty small company, but they've gotten huge now. I mean, they've got like movies out, and they've got games, and they've got all kinds of stuff. And the guy that owns is real aggressive about spending his money. He has a good day job, and he's real aggressive about supporting the company with his own money and growing the company into other things. And initially, I was like, I don't know, maybe we should try this with a bigger company.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like I fell into something, because in the time that I've been working on this book and the writer's been working on it, the company has grown and grown and grown. It's like, holy cow! And I mean, they do like 60 conventions a year. You know, I mean, think about that. How many publishers do that many conventions? Part of it is if you're a writer for them, no, not artists, but if you're a writer, they expect you to go to conventions, and they will support you, but you got to go to conventions and sell books. And so I feel very fortunate to be with a company and I've kind of talked about how originally it was like, get the first issue done and then we'll make you a deal. And then it was like, get the second issue done and then we'll put it out, and then you can work on. But over time they've kind of said, well, we want and I feel like they're really kind of concerned about, they're not just worried about getting that hit, but they're worried about having like solid books, having books that come. Well, I'm not thrilled about that. I feel like it's good company policy.
Well, and it's just the opposite of how some of these guys are proceeding on these Indiegogos and then getting in trouble because they just can't deliver. Because it's almost like it's almost like they're in doing something that is in fact kind of new to them. They said, "Wow, I didn't know it was going to take this much effort to finish a book."
Oh my gosh, comics take so much work.
It does take a lot of work. And if you find yourself,
if something happens,
a whole bunch of you're going to
something happens in this comic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. If something happens, and this comic fails, I don't know if I have enough internal gumption or whatever to make myself work on another I mean, I've never worked this much on a project. I've never drawn 4 issues of anything.
Sure.
And this is 3, but I got to do 4. And,
I wouldn't want this to pay you back
like,
in some way.
If this doesn't pay back, I don't know if I can do another one. Somehow it's got it. And I think, the publisher's interested in it. They're, I think it'll do really well for us. I think you'll do well. Happy. I think that, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, and there's this thing that creators can't help but have going on in their head when they do something like this. They imagine that there will be some sort of rush and demand for it, and that's not
Oh yeah.
going to happen. It just won't happen. And
No.
you've got to create it,
No.
and all of a sudden that becomes the talent set that might be lacking. Scott Adams talks about your talent stack, and all of a sudden you've got to develop a stack of talent for promotion that you might not have. Now I think you've got it. You're with these people that understand it has to be sold and has to be. You have to go out and meet
Yeah.
your audience and all that.
Yeah, I think it'll be. I think there'll be that opportunity. And the writer, here's the thing: the writer is literally like, because what they do is they send teams to conventions and they sell books, and the writer is like one of their best salesmen. I mean, in fact, the owner of the company told me, he said, "Look, I'll be honest with you, this dude carried me for a couple years because he was selling all the books." And so there's a loyalty there. There's kind of a history there, and I think the publisher really wants it to go well, not just for me, but for the writer. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the writer's got a couple of good things going on in addition to this, but I think this will do really well. I think the premise is good. I think, I don't know. I think it'll do well. I'm trying my hardest to make a comic that I would think is cool, and I feel like if I make something that I like, then that's all I'm really concerned about. I mean, I think if I like it, I genuinely like it, then the writer's got enough marketing savvy to know what will sell and what won't. And I'm doing stuff that I like. I think it'll do well for us. We'll see. Only time will tell. I got to finish it first.
Yep.
I'm, chugging away at it. Trying to get back in the rhythm.
I'm going to get on to what do they call it? Webtoons. I'm gonna start a comic book in a certain kind of. I'm going to have certain rules for it, and it's going to be all done. It'll be done almost more like a storyboard than a comic book. But I'll be doing the panels at a specific size to where when I do decide to turn it into a book, it'll be just 3 panels a page, and it'll be nice and neat that way.
There you go.
Well, Scott, what do you think? How long have we been at it?
Is it time?
I don't know. Let me look.
48 minutes.
Okay, we can go for a while.
48
longer.
minutes. No.
Okay, I'm going to
Yeah,
get
we
it.
can talk a little bit
I'll be right
longer.
back. So you can talk.
Where are you going?
I got to go in here and get some coffee made.
Oh my gosh, Ellis is killing me with this coffee. If you missed the earlier portion, I went to my doctor about a month ago, and he suggests I cut back on coffee. So, and Ellis told me I'm not going to the doctor because he might tell me I have to stop drinking coffee. So anyway, but that's okay. I went today and all my numbers were good, but I still need to watch it. What to talk about? My wife and I went to New York City recently. Went to
Hey, Scott.
New York Comic Con. It was a blast. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me from here?
Yes.
I'm in the bathroom.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So I lied.
Wash your hands.
Okay, I'll wash my
No.
hands when I come back.
Okay. Shut the door.
Okay. No, I think I'll leave the door open.
Oh.
Ammonia, that's what smelling salts is anyway, so it'll keep me awake.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty disgusting. Oh, look at that. Screen went off. Yeah, sometimes, if you're working on a new tool
Yeah.
and it'll interrupt you and say, what you want to be looking at is Gmail. Oops, dang, I hate that. When it doesn't take a
Oh
escape.
wait, it'll tell you to look at. It'll tell you to check your mail.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't pop up on this, but which is good because I would really get annoyed.
Yeah, that seems like that'd be
If I
very
was
distracting.
If I was painting along saying, I'm in a groove now, and all of a sudden Gmail popped up and said, have a
Your
look.
Gmail, Ellis.
I need to see. I got real close to these digits up here. I made them the wrong size for this guy's proportion because I was in too close to reference the rest of him. So I've got these little teeny digits, and I've got to correct all that, even though I spent more effort on that up there than just about anything in the painting. That's what I get for getting too close.
Hey, Phil,
Yeah, go ahead.
he didn't tell me to cut out coffee. He told me to cut back on caffeine. I was drinking coffee from morning to night, and it was a blood pressure thing. And I feel better after cutting back a little bit.
I need to give myself a quick.
I was getting jittery. I'd lay in.
Yeah, sure. No,
I would lay in bed at night and I'd feel like my heart wasn't racing, but I kind of felt like that. It was kind of weird.
Yeah. I get it all the time. It's you just are.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, no. I need to cut down definitely, and I'm sure. I'm just sure of it.
Anyway, well, my doctor told me to cut down. So anyway, it's no big deal. I mean, I don't miss it. I mean, I can go. My wife in the morning, and I'm not really like that. I can skip it. But I've been drinking chicory coffee, which has less caffeine.
I've got a feeling I probably wouldn't like
it.
Coffee. I don't know.
I don't think you would. Well, you might. It's strong.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about Classic Cinema Podcast. What did we watch? It was your pick.
We watched The Wizard of Oz.
You paid a price for picking that too. Everybody was down on you a little bit, just a little bit for picking that.
Well, here's the thing. We watch too many genre movies.
Yeah.
I mean, that is literally like a classic movie.
Yeah, and our title of it is Classic Cinema Podcast. We should be, and that is one of the American Film Institute's. It is considered one of the best movies ever made. So,
yeah, I thought it was really good.
And
some people.
The movie trivia is a yard long on it, so I should have read that first, though.
Oh yeah,
would have helped a lot on commenting later. What were some of the things we talked about? Everybody seemed to know that Buddy Ebsen was in it and got really sick as the first Tin.
Yeah, because he was the Tin Man. Yeah. Did they change the makeup, or was he just allergic to
it? They did change the makeup to. He was given a kind of a spray on dust, and they changed to more of a goo and a paste that was much better.
Oh, so you didn't? Yeah.
Yeah. He was hospitalized with his experience. Which with Buddy Ebsen, it would have been a different movie. And to me, he is the Scarecrow fella, or the Tin Man. He's good because he's in this movie you love and all that. But I can see Buddy Ebsen being a guy I would have liked as well as him. Now, it's funny, that guy that did the Tin Man, I think he's Jack Haley.
Yeah, I believe so.
He wants you to know the simple truth of the matter about that. When he's just been told too many times that must have been fun to make that movie. He wants you to
Oh,
know that was a living hell. He
oh,
says no, it was not fun.
oh,
And then
nothing about
you know
making
movies
that
take a
movie looks fun.
lot of patience to see through to the end. That's all you're in an endurance race to make a movie. You know, everybody's sick of it from about the second day that it's in production. And if you finish
Oh my
that
gosh,
movie,
I literally think.
yeah, go ahead. What were you going to make a point about?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think, I mean, everyone talks about it, and there are a lot of people that aspire to it, but I think being a director would
Oh,
probably be one of the hardest jobs.
oh yeah, yeah.
Just the pressure and the
It's one of those
God,
jobs
it'd
where
be
you have
like
to be
just
somebody
get.
that's either a guy that yells all the time or be one of these guys that you could set a bomb underneath them and then not get a rise out of them. You know, you got to be the
Well, I
total.
think you have to be both
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
in some
Yelling
ways.
all the time is one strategy.
Yeah, I just think just the I mean, just the get. I mean, okay, so at work, I'm in charge of a department, and I've got people that work under me, and they're all good people, and I don't I don't have to micromanage them or anything, but just the daily getting stuff done, and directors, it'd be like that I mean, for
Oh
a
yeah. Nobody.
multi-million dollar or hundreds of million dollars project. Oh, it'd be a nightmare.
You'd
I
want
mean,
people
it'd
that
be cool.
could.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. You'd want people that do their
It,
job without much in the way of supervision, but at the same time, almost everything being done is something that we're an awful lot of it you have to sign off on. And so you got this long lineup of people that want to talk to you that you're saying to
oh,
yourself, I shouldn't,
geez.
and fairly often that's what gets them mad is they'll say, I shouldn't have to tell you this. you know, it's one of those things where they're looking. These directors are looking for people that can kind of like us uh, get it at least halfway done without them telling
Oh, so
every
starters,
detail.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and and again, not trying to compare it to my job, but I have all the people that work under me are very good. I don't have to direct them. If I'm not there, they'll do the next task. But I am responsible. I have to oversee it all.
yeah,
And if something leaves my department that's not up to par, it's me,
yeah. It
and so
comes
I
back at you
I
quick.
yeah, it's like, I mean, and literally, like when I was on vacation, when I was on vacation, I got back and I had 248 emails that I had to respond to, and when I came back, my computer wasn't working because they were going to update it while I was gone, and then I had to go, and so the guy had to come in and do some final stuff before I could get on it, and then I had to go to a 2 hour safety meeting about just
Oh,
managerial stuff.
uh-huh.
And then the next day I had another 2 hour meeting for the same kind of different topic, but it was more safety meetings. And so I've got 248 emails. Meanwhile, I had projects that people have started while I'm gone. I've never seen them, and I'm starting to get phone calls about what's going on with this. And I wasn't even there when it started, And that's this is not, a big thing. It's just something I have to do. And so I can't imagine being a director and having, you know, I have one department basically. And, I can't imagine. I mean, think about, well, what do you want the wardrobe to look like? I mean, you'd hire somebody, but ultimately you'd be responsible for all this. You know,
My favorite manager type is that guy in Parks and Rec. Have you ever watched those?
is that Ron Swanson?
Yeah, Ron Swanson. Yeah.
I watched part of that. That was on Amazon a while
Yeah.
back, and I'd never
Yeah.
seen him when I watched him. I liked him. There was some other stuff on the show I couldn't take, but
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
it's funny you say that because I heard the guy on the radio say because he'd gone to the green and he said Ron Swanson says there are two times a man can cry at his mother's funeral and when he first sees the Grand Canyon or
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
first time he sees the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. His delivery is really great.
Oh yeah, that guy's pretty. He did a play of the Confederacy of Dunces, and he played Ignatius Riley,
Oh my God, I'd
which
love to see that.
oh,
Oh my
I'd love
gosh,
to see it
it
too.
might just be perfect as that. I would like to
I
see
think
that.
so. By the way, if you're listening to this, my favorite book is The Confederacy of Dunces,
Oh boy.
and if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it.
Oh yeah.
It's funny. Ellis, what's your favorite book? If you had to pick one,
Hmm. Boy, I've
favorite novel.
absorbed
Let's
so
let's
much.
narrow that.
I've absorbed so much P.G. Woodhouse lately. I mean, I've read or listened to everything our library has, I guess, which is
Oh,
been quite,
really?
been quite an adventure. There is nothing that puts a smile on your face in a more guaranteed way for me than listening to a little P.G. Woodhouse.
Really?
Oh,
Okay. I gave you that book.
oh
Because
yeah,
I
and I
ended up
read
with
it.
two
I
copies
read it.
of it.
I've worked my way through that book.
You're in to read it.
Oh, absolutely. You should read some P.G. Woodhouse and
I
listen
read
to it.
some of
And,
them.
for the most part, all those audiobooks that the library has, even the ones I haven't run across one that wasn't listenable, even though they've got a couple of guys that aren't as good, but they've got some guys that are just as much fun to listen to as Michael Caine. Basically, they're really have got some good performances going on, and they've got the
Now, where's
material. Well,
is the
that's the
Jeeves
deal.
stuff or
When you're into P.G. Woodhouse, you're into a kind of a universe of people that are going to be encountering a lot of crazy coincidence and running into each other in ways that is totally implausible, but sure is fun. And they're going to always be clever and put things in a way that you say, "Oh man, that was just beautiful." It's just great writing that in that way. It's just you just sit there and you say,
you've inspired me.
"Yeah,
I'm always looking. At work I listen to audiobooks
hmm
and I just burn through them. And if I don't like the narrator or whatever, I'll dump it pretty quick.
yeah, yeah."
I don't have a low
No, but these
tolerance.
are all
You know,
really well narrated. I'm listening right now, finishing off. I don't know what your uh, criteria is on narration, but one of the things I really hate is a guy that acts too much and has a little too much of a level change in his acting, because you'll get your volume up to a certain level, and then if the guy drops below that level, it's like, hey, I can't hear you anymore, and it's like
yep. They got to.
that will annoy a guy. Well, I'm listening to a guy right now that I have to make an exception for him. He does that, which is a great flaw, but
Yeah.
it's Malcolm McDowell, the guy who played in Cat People, and he was the head Droog in Clockwork Orange. I think it's Malcolm McDowell.
Oh, okay.
Malcolm McDowell? Yeah, I think so.
That's not Rowdy. Roddy.
No, no.
Roddy was in Planet of the Apes, right? Roddy
Yeah, now I
McDowell.
got to look this up. I got to make sure I'm talking about
Uh oh.
Clockwork
My
Orange. No, I'm
my
not. I'm
headphones
not.
are.
I'm not going to back us completely out of Clockwork Orange. Just think about what a strange title that is.
Yeah.
It makes reference to, the same sort of thing when you say a wet robot, basically. I think is what it's saying. An organic thing. It's basically an automation.
Oh yeah. So Star Storyteller asked, "What was Ron's management style?" Hands off. It was very. It
Yeah,
was very. Don't bother me. Was
yeah.
his management style.
Don't bother me.
He. He.
Malcolm
Yeah.
McDowell.
He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
very. It was all about.
But at
Go
the
his.
same time,
His.
he is
His.
in charge. That's what's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't question me, but don't bother me either.
Yeah,
But he was a he was a very anti-government type,
yeah,
but he
yeah,
worked in the government, and his
yeah. That's
theory
funny.
was, if I work in the government, I'm basically subverting it by being in it and doing as little as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a libertarian. That I tell you what, I had this girlfriend that was involved in the big job of budgets for the state of Oklahoma for a while, and then in Dallas for a while, and then went on to San Diego. And the person they hated most that they in their department that they had to work under was somebody that I think had managed to
Yeah.
become a semi-elected official, and he was a libertarian. Well, can you imagine? This is
Oh yeah, they
before
hated him because
the word in deep state came into popular play. That long ago. This is back. Good Lord, this is 19 mid 80s, and at the same
oh yeah,
time, even back then, you can't act like you're for limited government and work in the government. You've got to be for your team.
yep. That's the yeah. That's you're cutting your own throat,
Yeah, yeah. You've got to
or that's how
spend
they
all that
view it.
money in your budget. That's the
Well, that's one of the problems is, you know, one of the many problems in our world.
yeah. Well, I'm
So
kind
we
of
got planned for the rest of the week.
the rest of the week. Well, I may if they throw it out to us on these auctions, I may show up and try to sell a couple of batches of my Inktober's. I've been doing Batman every time for
Oh yeah.
Inktober, and
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
they've been coming out kind of cool. And I sold a batch of 8 for $160 on one auction. So now I've got 2 more batches of 8, and if I do that well again, I'll have considered myself a guy that didn't work too dumb for Inktober.
No. Yeah.
At
No, that
least
made it worth it.
yeah, be a little money.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you something. I forgot what I was gonna ask you. I'm sorry. Are you gonna do the drawn and quarter tonight?
Oh, you know what? I think I'm pretty well. I'm almost sure I was down in a row of 4 of people that were in the green room, and the topic is a highly popular one of green lantern. It's going to go
Oh,
over big, I
really?
think. Yeah. So that's fun. I'll I always say I'm going to tune in and watch these things. I never do. I if I'm not on it, I'm not around it.
Yeah,
That's that's
I've
pretty
watched
good.
parts of them. They're long.
Yeah, they are long. They take too long to. And if you're there, you realize that people are waiting for something to manifest itself that's even worth looking at. And we've got this guy that typically is the guy in charge of us, kind of the what do you call him? The guy handling the
MC?
auctions tech. Oh, I forget what you
Oh
call him.
yeah.
And the mod. He's the mod guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And his name's Edwin Boyette. And he'll come along and you'll be in your little groove and say, "What you got going there?" And it'll be like, "Well, I was." It's like some guy that you've been doing just fine until this guy distracted me. But it's got to be.
I was doing great until you came.
Until you asked me that question. No, but it's got to be that way. It's got to be a show, So you've got to
Well, they gotta get viewers.
You've got to have interaction, and you've got to say, "What are you up to?" But when you have zero to show, or you're working in like light pencil at the time, to where nobody has got a chance in heck of knowing what in the world you're working on. It takes a while for the interest or anything of interest to develop.
Yeah, I could see that.
Well,
I could see that being a problem.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back on this thing and listen to it and listen to see if because I worked without my headphones, because that's another thing I hate is having headphones for a long stretch of time on my head.
Oh yeah.
And I went without. Do you have headphones on?
Yeah, I have my earbuds on.
Oh, you have earbuds on. Well, see, I may be screwing everybody up on.
Oh, hey,
what?
Ellis.
Yeah, is it time to
Star
go?
Storyteller said next. Well, no, he said, or they said next time you two stream, post it to the Twitter so more people can check it out. That's probably a good idea. I posted on Facebook, but we should post on Twitter next time we stream.
Well, you know what? I did. I shared it before we started. Hey, what? How long?
Oh, okay.
There it is. 1 hour 16. 1 hour 17. I guess.
Okay.
We can call it.
Okay.
Hey, let me see that page though before you do it.
Yeah.
You guys started on another page, huh?
This page.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is. I don't know if you can see it, but I dropped it on the floor and I rolled my chair over the page.
Great.
I'm hoping that it doesn't. Well, it's before it's inked.
Yeah.
I'll cover it up, and I've got I got some trash down here. I've got to worry. It'll be okay. I'll cover it up.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, what I've realized is I'm scanning them in. I can fix anything in Photoshop, so not too worried about it. But yeah, it's like, okay, I should make sure that doesn't fall on the floor and I don't roll over it.
Yeah.
At least it was
one
me
of your
that
stamps.
did it, not the dog or
use
something.
your casters on your artwork. Yep. No chair casters.
Yeah, that's the tip for tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Okay. Hey, thank you, Star Storyteller. I'm working hard on this book. If it doesn't kill me, I think it'll be great. I'm very excited about it. When you're doing this stuff, you look at it and you go, "God, it looks terrible," but I'm doing the best I can, and I looking back, I think the stuff I've done looks decent. So we'll see, But thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay,
thanks for keeping us company, Star Storyteller. Take it easy, Scott. Well, I'm going to
thank you very much. Thanks.
Ending now.
Okay.
There we go. There went the podcast, and now